Okay. So tell me again about your project.
Can I record this?
Yes.
Let me see.
But don't worry, it's already been recorded. I'll send you the link afterwards.
Oh, okay. Um, as I said, it is an ambulance health monitoring system. So, it monitors vital signs of a patient while in transit to the hospital and also sends the information to the nearest hospital. And also, it also sends the estimated time of arrival. So it helps with the filing system of the hospital. It helps fast track that. Every time when you go to a hospital, when you get there, you need to go open a file and then before they could assist you. So to fast track that, we have tried to design a system where in an emergency case and you're being transported by an ambulance, you get to open a virtual file while in transit. That will also cut the time used by the, uh, what do you call the people working in the ambulance?
The paramedics.
Yes, the paramedics to convey the information to the doctors. When you get to a hospital, the paramedics are the ones that should convey message to the doctors that this is a patient, her name is so and so, this is what is wrong with her, vital signs and everything. So the hospital gets to prepare in hand
Okay.
for the patient that is in transit using the information that has been sent from the ambulance to the hospital
Okay,
prior.
that's fine. Let me ask you another question. Are you able to put on your video?
Video as in, ish, I don't look proper.
Don't worry about
I,
makeup and stuff. It's
ish,
fine. So let me ask you another question. If you are to explain the purpose of your project in one sentence, how would you encapsulate that in a sentence? And I
the
want you to start with the purpose of my project is.
the purpose of my project is to save time and to cut the mortality rate that happens in hospital
Okay.
and to save cost
How
as
do
well
you plan to save time and cut mortality rate?
by preparing for the patient in advance before they come, knowing the problem and hopefully the diagnosis of the patient coming in beforehand so that the staff could be ready and deal with the situation without having to deal with the filing system and so on and so on
And how do
beforehand.
you plan to do all that?
By introducing a system in an ambulance that convey the information beforehand and also the estimated arrival time of the patient beforehand,
And
before they
how
can
do you
arrive.
plan to introduce this system in the ambulance?
How do I plan to introduce it? How?
This system you're talking about in an ambulance.
How do I plan to introduce it?
Yes.
I'm not sure I
Because
understand
you
the
say
question.
you want to do it by introducing a system in an
Mhm.
ambulance that will transmit vital signs to the hospital before the paramedics get there. How do you
Okay.
plan to introduce this system to the ambulance?
By using today's technology, by using IoT and fourth IR technology into the ambulance system.
So that's where you come
Make,
in.
yes,
Now let's start again in one sentence, because this is about a problem you are trying to solve with
yes,
a technology you are designing or developing that will do all the things you've talked about. All those things you have talked about, you're not the ones to do them. You are not the one doing all that. What you're designing is what will help the paramedics to transmit that information to the hospital, where the nurses or clerks will take down those data before the paramedics and the ambulance get there.
Yes.
So let's come back to your part, which is your project. In one sentence, explain the purpose of your project.
Okay. The project of my project is...
The purpose of your project is...
Oh my God. The purpose of my project is to help the health system.
No. You are not helping the health system. You are designing something that will help the health system.
Yes.
So let's go back, rephrase.
Okay, the purpose of this project is to design a system that helps the health.
That will do 1, 2, 3 in order to do 1, 2, 3. That's how I want you to structure it. Now let's go again. The purpose of my project is to design a system, to design an IoT-based system that will do 1, 2, 3 in order for 1, 2, 3 to happen. Now put it that way.
Okay, the purpose of my project is to design an IoT-based health monitoring system that will provide vital signs information, estimated time of arrival, and the GPS coordinates of the ambulance in order to save time and money and the mortality rate.
In order to prepare the hospital staff for the arrival of an ambulatory patient on transit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when you put it that way, does that help someone to understand in one sentence what your whole project is about?
Yes, it does.
Now that's what we call a problem statement.
Oh, okay.
You are stating the problem you want to solve.
Yes.
Yes, you want to cut time, you want to save costs, you want to make admission of patients faster. How do you do that? That's the problem. How do you do that? By designing an IoT-based ambulance health monitoring system that will do 1, 2, 3 in order for 1, 2, 3 to happen. That's how you craft a problem statement. Now let's come to your project. What you have just defined, we need to see it in your abstract.
Okay.
We need to see it in your problem statement. We need to see it in your objectives. Now let's go to the document you submitted to see if those elements are there.
Okay.
So I'm going to share the screen so that we see what you've submitted. Just remember the statement you've just made. So let's look through. First, the abstract. I have gone through this abstract, and then I see what you say. The purpose of the project is to solve the current scientific challenge that is currently faced by the health sector. Remember, I asked you how, because you have not told us what you are doing to solve that scientific challenge. You are telling us there's a challenge, but is that what your project is about? Is that what you are designing? Are you designing a scientific challenge to solve a scientific challenge? No, you are not. So you're supposed to be telling us what you are doing to solve that problem. So yes, you identify the problem. This is the problem. But how is my project going to solve that problem? What am I doing through my project to solve that challenge?
Yes.
And then you went on to say the challenge is presented by the changing tech landscape, blah, blah, blah. The ability to harness advanced health technology has not yet caught up. Okay, you're telling us, okay. Therefore, the project sets out to address the above discussed issue by harnessing advanced technology so are you designing advanced technology? What advanced technology? You need to be specific and tell us exactly what you're doing through this project to solve this problem you've identified. So that I have not seen in your abstract.
Yes.
Now, what is the format of an abstract? An abstract should have a brief introduction, a statement of the problem, the methods or procedure you want to use to solve that problem,
Solve the problem, yes.
then your expected outcome, and a brief summary. That's the format of an abstract.
Okay.
Now, what is an abstract? An abstract is like a one-page dissertation. Let me put it that way so you understand it. It's a one page that summarizes your whole project. That's an abstract. One page or half a page that summarizes your whole project. When I look at your abstract, I will know the background to the problem. That's the introduction. I will know exactly what problem you are trying to solve. That is a statement of the problem. I will know what methods you have applied in solving that problem. That's a methodology. I will know the results to expect when I look at the result section of your project, and then a summary. So you see, all those elements are contained in the abstract. So I don't need to read your whole project. If I want to know what your whole project is about, where do I go? I look in the abstract. And your abstract will tell me the whole story from beginning to the end. That's the purpose of an abstract. Now, when you're submitting a proposal, you have not done the project. In your abstract, you are talking future tense. I want to do this. My project is about this. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I plan to do it. These are the results I expect. But when you are writing that's when you are submitting your proposal. Now, after your proposal is approved and you're writing the final project, the tense will change. Now you are writing either in present continuous tense or past tense, because now you've done the project or you are doing the project and you are reporting on what you have done or what you're doing, so the tense will change. You are now saying, this is the introduction, this was the problem, this is the purpose of my project. These are the methods I used, not the methods I'm going to use, like in your proposal. These are the methods I used. This was how I solved the problem. These are the results. And this is the summary. So you see the language in your final document will change to past tense because now you've done the project and you are submitting. So you are reporting on what you've done. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, yes.
Okay. So using that, I want you to go and revisit the abstract and reconstruct it following the format that we have discussed. And make sure you include somewhere a statement of that problem, the problem statement captured in a sentence, not just telling us the background and the history, but we want to see that the purpose of this project is this. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's come back. Okay, any questions on that before we proceed?
No. So just to be clear on the problems, on the abstract, the only things missing is for me to include the purpose of the project sentence properly, restructure that.
That's not the only thing missing.
And also fixing the tenses.
Remember, I gave you the structure of an abstract, the introduction, a statement of the problem, your methods that you use to solve the problem, a summary of your results, and then conclusion.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now let's go to your problem statement and see what you've done. Again, I was looking for a statement of the problem here. I couldn't find. And there's something else you wrote here.
This first part was supposed to be removed.
So why haven't you removed it?
Yeah, I forgot. I saw it after I've sent it, and I was like,
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one that came with the report.
Because if you
With the
forget and you
template.
leave this there, when it goes for evaluation, you might be penalized for this.
Yes.
Okay. Now I have looked for a statement of the problem. You've only given the background to the problem, but you have not really stated the problem you want to solve. So somewhere after giving us the background, you need to tell us exactly, give us a statement of the problem, just like you've defined it here. The purpose of the project, this project is, we want to see it here. If it's not there, you don't have a problem statement.
Okay.
Now that's very important. The next thing you will do after stating, giving your problem statement, you want to break it down into manageable chunks. If there are 4 or 5 different aspects of the project that you need to complete for that project to be complete, those would be your sub-problems. Let's look at what you've written here, for instance. The system seeks to provide and improve on the following. Provide vital information in real time to the nearest hospital while the patient is in transit. And then you broke it down, A and B. Then you said record the patient data and enable it for remote viewing. You broke it down into A and okay. Then you said not notify the patients.
Notify the patient's next of kin.
Okay, so there's a mistake here.
Yeah.
Notify the patient next of kin of the hospital admission and the current condition they may be in, critical or stable. And then under that, there's A and B. And then finally, provide GPS coordinates of the ambulance and routes, thus calculating and notifying the staff. So these are various components of your project. Your project will do all of this. Now, these 4 components could be sub-problems. Sub-problem 1, sub-problem 2, sub-problem 3, sub-problem 4. But that's not all. You can actually compress this into 2 sub-problems, because in your project, there's going to be the hardware component and software component. Is that not so?
It is.
You're going to code, you're going to write software that will be able to do all this.
Yes.
So the writing of the software could be one sub-problem, because you are telling us what you want to do in your project to solve the problem. Obviously, there'll be the hardware component as well. Are you going to build a circuit? If yes, then that will be another sub-problem. I will build this sub-problem, say number 4, will be to build a circuit that will be able to do this, this, and that. And maybe sub-problem number 5, to write a software code that will do this and that in order for it to talk to the hardware to produce so and so results. So these are components of your project, things you are going to do in order to solve the big problem. That's where you break your problem into little chunks. It's like stages of what you are going to do in the project to solve the project, the problem. So that by the time you finish doing all that, your problem statement, which is the main problem, would have been accomplished. You would have met what you said. The purpose of this project is to design a circuit or an IoT-based ambulance monitoring system that will do this, this, and that. In that design, there are hardware components that will do 1, 2, 3. There are software components that will do 1, 2, 3. And then you're integrating all of them together. Could be another sub-problem, integrating the hardware and the software so that this and this can happen. So that's how you break down your problem into little chunks, which we call the sub-problems. Now, let me give you 1 or 2 examples. I'm going to stop sharing. Let me just go look for a project of, let's say, a previous student who has completed, and I will share screen, and then you can see some of these elements of what we talked about. Okay, first I need you to see the title. I'm going to share screen now. Can you see this screen?
Yes.
So the title of this project is Patient Facial Recognition with a Tracker. Patient Facial Recognition with a Tracker. So if you're wondering, what is this project about? There are two places to go to, the abstract and the problem statement.
Yes.
So let's go to those two. Patient facial recognition with a tracker. Okay. So now look here. It says the main aim of this project is to design, this is in the abstract section, is to design a patient facial recognition with a tracker which will enable which enables the monitoring of psychiatric patients at public hospital or institutions.
Mm-hmm.
The project will have a GPS tracker with the ability of tracking the patient over a range of 20 kilometers. It is designed to detect and track which patient leaves the holding area without psychiatric permission. It will increase the security in terms of keeping the patient safe and from future death. The system will allow the security guard that the patient escaped or left the ward. They will also be wearing a bracelet tracker that enables the tracking of their location in a matter of few seconds. The system will be relevant, efficient, and filled with highly advanced intelligence software, blah, blah, blah. Does that give you a picture of what this project is about?
Yes, it does.
So that's what I can see in yours, right? You must
Yes.
have it there in the abstract. Now let's go to the problem statement and see. Yeah, so here's a problem statement. The purpose of this project is to develop and design a tracking device with facial recognition that can help monitor the movement of psychiatric patients who often stray out of the hospital unnoticed and end up getting injured.
Mm-hmm.
Does that give you an idea? So this is the problem that this person wants to solve. Apart from telling us the background, okay, patients often run away or they stray and patient and staff don't know where they are. Some of them end up dead, some end up in the ceiling. And these are real cases. Some end up in the bush and they are not able to track them. Now that is the problem. Now what is this student doing to solve that problem? Develop a facial recognition and tracking system that before the patient even move out of the ward, if it's a patient, the door will not open because the camera system will track their faces. Once they pick up that, no, this one is a patient because your data is already in the system, door will not open. If it's a member of staff, the door will open. So you need to capture that in your problem statement. Now let's see if there is a sub-problem. Now look at the sub-problems. Designing of the device which will be capable of recognizing and tracking, recognizing and tracking the psychiatric patient will be achieved in the following ways.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're breaking it down into sub-problems. Sub-problem number one, to design a patient recognition circuit with a camera. The main aim of the circuit is for capturing of patient to the system. Audible and visual alarm will be installed. As soon as the patient is recognized, a buzzer will be activated, and LED will illuminate, the door will automatically close. Therefore, the patient will not be able to escape. That is the first thing this student will do, to design that patient recognition circuit with a camera. The next one, design of a tracking circuit which will be having a GPS module that comes with the antenna. It is able to detect up to 6 satellites for data transmission. Web page will be designed so that it can show the received coordinates, longitude, latitude. By putting the coordinates on side, the lost patient will be traced. So design of the circuit which will be having GPS module, that's the second thing that this student will do. The third thing, designing of software and linking of the entire circuit by using ESP32 microcontroller program will be uploaded to the microcontroller for controlling the entire project. So now that's where the software component comes in, because the student will design this software. And then number 4, you integrate the hardware and the software together and test for functionality. And that test, you test, generate results, which will be in your chapter 5. according to the user specification requirement. Now you see that once these students have done all this, the main problem of designing a patient facial recognition system would have been accomplished.
Yes.
So that's how you break down your main problem into manageable chunks called sub-problems. So I have explained the abstracts and what it should contain and the structure and what is missing. I have explained the problem statements and how the problem you are trying to solve should be encapsulated in one statement, that when we look at that statement, we know exactly what you're trying to do. Because if you tell us, no, I want to develop a technology that will do this and that, but you've not told us how you're going to do it. That's where your problem statement that captures the essence of what you want to do to solve that problem, that's where it comes in.
Yes.
Now, let's go back to your work. There are one or two other things I want to point out. Yeah. So, yes, we have a table of contents. And by the way, you need to correct these things here, these two dots that I see here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So after your table of content, your table of figures, table of table, it should be in the next page, not in the same page as the table of content. So let it be in the next page. Okay. Well, we've talked about your abstracts and we've talked about your problem statement. Okay. So the other one is your objective, study objectives. So I have looked at the study objectives. I can't really see an objective here. Let's see what you've written. The adoption of IoT in the healthcare is already delivering its promise to improve the experience of the, okay, this is the background. The introduction of 4IR has tasked developers to offer better outcome at lower cost. Well, again, background. Although this is so far possible through private health sector, the design and implementation can be adopted in public sectors as well. Again, that's a background you're telling us. And then the next paragraph is thus, the IoT and digital technologies are transforming the current steps for the patient journey, therefore leading to, and you made a list of things. So what exactly is the objective? Because I don't know what your project seeks to accomplish. You've given us background and all that, but I have not seen an objective. So can you see what is missing here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's fine. She's welcome to join if it is. Yes. So these are some of the things I wanted to point out before we even go to chapter 2. So start with those and correct them. And when we meet again, then we can look at the corrections and then we'll go to the next chapter.
Yes.
Is that fine?
That's fine.
Okay. I think that's all for now from my side. Any questions?
No. Okay, so we only done with the first chapter, or
Yes.
we still continuing?
No, we're done.
We're dealing with the first chapter.
Yes, go make those corrections. When we meet again, we'll have a look at those corrections. Once they are fine, then we'll move on to the next chapter.
Okay.
Yes.
But have you had a chance to go through until chapter 3, or?
Let's take it step by step. I've looked through everything, but we're doing the correction step by step.
Okay. Are you happy with the changes that I have made from the?
Well, as you can see, I'm going from the beginning. And you can see there are still changes that need to be made. So go make these changes for chapter 1, update and resend it. Then we'll start from there. Because there's no point having a chapter 1 that is not okay and we're jumping to chapter 2 or 3. We'll take it step by step.
Okay. Now I was talking in terms of hardware.
I skimmed through. I didn't go into detail because I noticed a lot of things we needed to correct in the first chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of a shortage of semiconductors, I changed. I'm no longer going to use the processing unit that I wanted to use because of that. So if it is okay with you, I think I would like to use.
Yeah, what you will
the
do is
discovery board.
state that in your project somewhere.
It is
Because of
stated,
shortage of
yeah.
I couldn't use this because I couldn't find components. I decided to use this. So you have to motivate.
Yes, okay. That's what I wanted to, so that I know if after correcting that, should I also continue with the project because
Okay, I'll look into that in our next meeting. I'll go through properly and give you feedback on that.
okay, there's no problem. Yeah, but a discovery board, it's fine for me to use for that.
You see that the examiners usually would want to see what you did, not just you buy things off the shelf and use, right? They
Yeah.
want to see that you put in the work. You have designed this and built it yourself because it's easy to buy things off the shelf and just assemble them together. That's not the purpose of industrial project.
Yeah, but
Industrial project is supposed to design, and buying
yeah.
things off the shelf is not designing, you're just assembling. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. They want to see what you design. Except in rare occasions where you just can't find components and there has to be good motivation. Otherwise, they will query it. The examiners, and you know, it's not just one examiner, there are like 3 examiners and an external moderator. So that's why you need to be careful that you've put in the work.
Okay, yeah, I think I have put in the work, but we'll go through that as you go through chapter 3 to check the changes that I have made. But I believe that I still need to build the hardware and also um, do the monitoring hardware and also the Android-based software. So that's enough. Unlike Arduino, where you can plug and play, and if you have libraries, with this one, I don't have libraries. So literally, it means that I have to write the code myself and look at the schematics and read the data sheet. Also, use the info to create my own libraries so that there could be communication between the hardware and the software as well.
Okay, I'll have a look and I'll give it back in the next meeting.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.